So I'm curious. I think there's more subtle forms of
Mm,
grandiosity, and I'm
yes.
wondering, I don't know, do you have thoughts or examples of what they might be?
Yeah, so the main thing that I think that we could take away from the more subtle forms, because a lot of people have heard of the covert narcissist. I'm sure you've heard of this concept as well, right?
Yes,
And I think even in an earlier episode, either you and me, Lisa, I'm not sure if we spoke about this, but I like to
we
use
did.
Tony Soprano like as an example, right? Where you often see the grandiosity, but not the more subtle vulnerability that they also have. But the main point that I wanted to make is that the vulnerability and all those other traits that I just mentioned that make up the grandiosity, that they coexist. In other words, they operate in a dynamic, shifting relationship. In other words, one is rising and the other one is like you don't see it. That's the covert part. Like you may not see the vulnerability, you may not see the longing, right? You may not see the dependency needs, but they are still there. So, like, if we just go back to this example I gave just for another moment with the father, right? On the surface, we see the grandiosity, we said that, his drive to achieve something monumental, and for him to be recognized by the world. But underneath, what lies is a profound vulnerability. And that's what we begin to get into. This is part of working with somebody or relating to somebody. We try not to get caught up with the manifest presentation. And what we begin to talk about is that he has a deep fear of being present and playing with his child, or even just being playful, because being playful and connected may, one, expose him,